I see you winning, I'm winning.
Where I took
We all are winning for life.
Ladies and gentlemen listening in, allow me tell you, a new sun is breaking over Uganda. The air buzzes not just with promises of a new election, with a new election cycle, but with the vibrant energy of a generation stepping in to their profound power for hundreds of thousands of young women. The upcoming January 12, 2026 general elections will mark a pivotal moment. In their lives, their very first time at the ballot box. They are digitally native, I tell you. They are globally aware and uniquely positioned to shape Uganda's unfolding future. But the question is, why are they engaging now? What drives their excitement? What are their concerns? How about their demands? Welcome to the female ballot, where we say her voice is her vote and her vote is her right. This is Uganda's podcast, unveiling Ugandan women's indispensable voice ahead of the 2026 elections. And I tell you, this is an African Institute for Investigative Journalism product in partnership with the UN Women and the WPHF.
That one thing that I would really love this report to talk about is the period tax. They tend to charge the female products that we need, like it's called a pink tax, whereby these like the pads, the tampons are expensive for some girls that they can't access them. But if they would help us and reduce on the pink tax, or help these kids or help us the ladies to access them cheaply, it will be good.
Okay, whoever who will win those elections, at least there should be an improvement in the education sector, because we see it is all loopholes in it. So I really hope that that person looks into that it becomes better.
I must say, Uganda is in essence a profoundly young nation, with over 75% of its population currently being youth. This demographic reality makes the youth vote, particularly the female youth vote, an incredibly unique and important force in shaping the nation's political landscape. I tell you, according to the Electoral Commission's crucial general update of the National Voters Register that took place this year 2025, this was a vital gateway for many of these young women to register and finally claim their democratic right to participate. Let me tell you, historically, women have demonstrated significant electoral engagement. Not to go far back, in the 2020 voter register exercise for the last general election, women already constituted a clear majority with 52.21%. which was an impressive 9.2 million of all registered voters. And also, as even more young women reach the voting age and actively step into electoral processes, their collective voice is becoming undeniable in the national dialogue. The passive challenges of unemployment, unemployment hangs heavily over this youthful demographic, transforming abstract policy into a very, very personal struggle for survival and dignity. Let's read into the Afrobarometer 2024 survey, which painted a stark picture, finding that more than 1/3, 36% of young Ugandans aged between 18 to 30 years old say they don't have a job and are actively looking for one. Wow, this is sad. This makes job creation their top priority when considering who to vote for. They are quite literally voting with their livelihoods firmly in mind this time around. I tell you, You won't come with whatever you're thinking about. But their livelihoods, family, are in their minds.
Like currently, I've not really paid attention because they've not yet released their manifestos for me to know who is good, whose manifesto talks about my well-being as a youth or as a lady in Uganda, because I need to think about me before I think about the person I'm voting for. So by the time they will release them, I'll then get the motivation to decide on who to vote and that will influence me to go and vote.
In this hyper-connected age, for the first-time voters who are youth, definitely, social media is their primary newsroom, their most active debate hall. If you thought they don't debate, go there. That active debate hall are a powerful source of inspiration. It is also where they discover and are inspired by new female role models.
Maybe X would really influence me to really like vote, because you see people's comments when like there is that voting, people are voting for this leader, especially the recent Nalukola thing. You saw when people had actually voted someone, but then like on X we saw things, but then people came out and were like, we saw things the different way. So I feel like social media can like really tell us the truth, which is not really valid in the real electoral commission thing. So as a voter, yeah, maybe X can really influence me as a person to vote.
Led me to vote or to participate in the elections because I see she really works hard to put an end to corruption in this country, and that's Betty Kanya. Yes, so I feel if more of her work is put in place and more people follow what she believes in, then Uganda will become a better place.
So mine is Winnie Kiza. So she was in FDC. I don't know currently because now they separated. So she stepped down from being a member of parliament after the 5-year term she wanted, which is really exemplary with what she's fighting for. So that is really good.
In Uganda's rapidly evolving digital landscape, misinformation and disinformation spreads like a wildfire, often specifically targeting impressionable first-time voters, confusing, threatening, and discouraging them.
The only way I start to doubt is when I start to read. Let me give an example of Bobby Wine. No, not Bobby Wine. Bobby Wine's niece, who was Guild President Makere. Yeah, his name is Churchill. A lot was written, and it is still written, about the way he's following and not following the right rules. There is a different story that talks about that the way he's bringing in different politics besides students' awareness into the university. Others think like he's going to bring in more politics in the school than what students want. So when I found those, there were 4 stories I read, and then I realized they are really different. But the only way I got to know that this is either misinformation or right is that I didn't see anything he said, like quotes of him saying anything. They are just people writing. They are either students or any other viewers, or so the fact that he didn't say anything, there is no quote I saw of him saying anything about that, about his presence as a guild. That only showed me that people are now writing a lot, but he's quiet.
Here, their insights reveal a generation not just seeking personal gain, but actively looking for collective mobilization, driven by shared urgent vision of a more prosperous, more equitable Uganda. I tell you, I want a more equitable Uganda. They are uniquely using digital tools to amplify their demands, transforming online engagement into real-world political action. This is not just a vote, it is a statement of intent. But while their motivations are undeniably strong, these first-time female voters face significant multi-layered hurdles. You know what I mean if you've been there. Their path to the ballot box, practical challenges, from the bureaucratic maze of obtaining a national ID to the sheer logistical distance to polling stations in remote areas, can be doubting. But perhaps even more insidious are the intangible barriers, the relentless move and gaze of misinformation and online violence, chilling psychological effects of intimidation, profound skepticism about whether their vote will truly, meaningfully impact the outcome of the election.
Well, we discuss a lot of matters, and one of them is that sometimes we sit and ask ourselves, is there going to be any change in this country? Because we have been under the same leadership for over 40 years, and seems like as if we are going to even die and it's the same people leading us. So when is it going to change? Because people vote, people turn up, and then we end up seeing the same person is the one who is winning again. So when are we going to see that change? That's what we ask ourselves.
People are many, and that would not be an issue. There is a lot of corruption in there, bribery. Like most people, they give money. Most people give money so as to be put forward, like to access the services. So you find yourself, if you don't have money or if you cannot bribe those people, like you're not going to get through because the people are so many. So you could go there for a whole month too. That's why people reach at a point and give up. I have friends like they reach at a point and you're like, you know what? The system is so rigged. And they're like, no, let's leave that. That's why everything has made it hard for Ugandans to register for national IDs. So, and this is going to affect, of course, it's going to have an impact on the coming elections, because now the number of people who are going to vote are going to be few. Are going to be few. So you are going to see that there may not be some equality and genuineness. Yes. Yeah, because if I'm to say, okay, people in villages, we know most people there are old people, our grandmothers, and personally, I know those people support the ruling government, the ruling party, NRM. Yeah. So, and the system, the registration process in the villages is different from the one here in Central. So we are going to find that people in villages, our grandmothers, our grandfathers, our aunties there, their process is easy. It's easy for them to get national IDs. And the fact that they support a certain political party, the political party is going to get more votes there than it would have gotten. Yeah. And so we're going to find that most of the youth are in Central, are in Kampala. There is no way they can register. Like the system, everything is making it hectic for them. So you're going to find that most of the people here, we all know most of the people in Central support Nope. Yeah, that's a fact. So you're going to see that most of the people are supporting Nope, but they're not getting access to national IDs to help them qualify to do what? To vote.
My other question to you, just broad, going to touch on all three. One is, since you're talking,
Nze nga nze Munnayuganda abakuumaddembe njagala mbawe ekisuubizo.
As a Ugandan, I want to send a strong and heartfelt caution to our security forces. During elections, protect the people. Do not beat them. One of the main reasons many of us have grown disillusioned and resentful toward the current regime is because of the repeated violations of our rights. It is painful and deeply frustrating to watch unarmed, innocent civilians being brutalized, people whose only offense is wanting their voices to be heard. Instead of pursuing real criminals, some officers turn their weapons and batons on peaceful citizens. This is what is tormenting us. This is what is robbing us of our peace, and this is what is deepening our distrust and dislike of the government. Every time such violations occur, lives are lost, yet time and again, no one is held accountable. The victims' families are left grieving, longing for justice that almost never comes. We are not asking for much, just that you treat us with dignity, protect our rights, and let elections be free, fair, and peaceful. Uganda deserves better.
Police has a right to shoot you and kill you if you reach a certain level.
Tear gas atandise.
Nankuba tear gas. Just la kwamba gaba kole chi. Balekera ukole fujjo mukalu lukali peaceful. Tetwagala fujjo. Wallahi billahi twagala fujjo. Nankuba tear gas. Just la kwamba gaba kole chi. Balekera ukole fujjo mukalu lukali peaceful. Tetwagala fujjo. Tajja yingira lwati. Ngabamulonda.
But it is interesting that an Afrobarometer 2024 survey revealed a I tell you, it revealed a very powerful truth that 78% of Ugandans believe women should have the exact same chance of being elected to public office as men. Yet this overwhelmingly positive sentiment often clashes with persistent stereotypes that can undermine women's confidence in their own political agents. I mean, this creates a profound, frustrating disconnect between aspirations and the lived reality of engaging in politics for our sisters, for these young people just coming into the arena for the first time. The ultimate goal is to cultivate a generation of truly informed, assertive female voters who can critically evaluate candidates beyond rhetoric, beyond slogans, beyond slangs and symbols, but hold leaders consistently accountable and resiliently resist manipulation, which is at times very hard. It is about transforming passive recipients of political information into active, powerful agents of change. I mean, this should fully recognize their collective immense power to influence the very democratic trajectory of Uganda. But in this complex and often challenging environment, the question of whether the voters know what they are going for, comprehensive, intentional, civic education and voter education emerge as an indispensable transformative tool. It is a vital bridge connecting raw aspiration with informed, effective political participation. I mean, very many organizations from the civil society world and government agencies usually make up time and try to do this work.
My name is Ashraf Kakaine. I'm a civic educator and also community mobilizer. So civic education is important not only to only young women, but to each and every citizen in the country, because it is that field of the study that helps people or citizens to appreciate and understand their rights, responsibilities, and also their roles in terms of the country's development, but also understanding the structure and how their countries are governed. There are quite some specific initiatives that are geared towards ensuring that young women participate in electoral processes. For example, there are those that are being carried out by Maudu, National Union of Women in Governance, Sowigu, Center for Women in Governance, and very many others. Actually, we are also running an initiative that helps young women and young boys to participate in decision-making in their areas. And by so doing, we've been preparing them and also training them in areas of governance and also existing structures of their local areas, understanding what could be the entry point for them to participate in these engagements. So progress of women participation or progress of civic education programming could be based on one, behavior change of women. The time you realize young women starting to meaningfully engage and participate in electoral processes and also, becoming active citizenry is one way of measuring impact. The other way could be looking at the projects that are being designed by young women as a result of civic education programming, assessing and design and looking at projects that are done and also programming. That thing could be also the rate of women participating vis-a-vis the number of young people before the training is another way of engaging impact. On the issue of recommendation, I think the idea is simply assuring and a favoring environment, an enabling environment for both genders, not just the male, but also the young female youth to ably participate in election programming or civic engagement programming. But also the other thing could be designing measures that can combat and also look at safeguarding the young women into participating in civic education programming. The most effective method, I think, with the experience is not separating them, because the more you start segregating groups in terms of their gender, their age, it also affects training, because it makes them to feel that they must be a part of a particular grouping to be able to participate civically. So I think the most effective ways is having an inclusive approach of engaging both women and men, young women and men, to civically participate and be civically active. So by so doing, you just ensure that you promote and ensure that there is equal opportunities for both genders to meaningfully participate. And once that is done, I feel it's most effective because it gives them room for competition and not for them to think that they are of a lesser race than the other. The other thing could be also designing youth-friendly approaches that can take or reach these young women in their comfort zones. Oftentimes, people that do programming in leadership normally tend to take workshops in hotels, in conference halls and all that. So I think by designing people-centered trainings in communities, it gives also room for them to appreciate and embrace this. Measuring impact of civic engagement programming is not a one-day event. So because the change that we want to realize in involvement work programming is gradual, so the results seen after a certain period of time. Most probably it's a long time.
From the quiet determination to successfully register, to the passionate debates online that echo across the nation and the collective resolve to overcome every single obstacle, Uganda's first-time female voters are a demographic revolution in the making. I mean, they are driven by undeniable hunger for tangible change, for more better jobs, for more better opportunities, for accessible and quality education, and genuine representation that authentically mirrors their lives, their understanding, their needs, and their unique generational experiences that they feel many times misinterpreted.
Like I want when they go there, they also remember us the way we support them. Because we support them, we want them also to remember us, to encourage us to the problem we have. When they go there, they have a lot also to do. But to remember us, what make us remember them also?
No,
they should have come into They should come back, or they give us also some project which which can make us also to grow up. So we remember them. This one we sent her. She has done this for us. Maybe next time we should support them again also.
We don't struggle to bring up that change, because there is a lot of things happening now. The intimidations, the fights, the what, and people are now scared. You reach on a person, a young person like me, and you ask that person, are you going to vote? On whatever is going on, I can't go there. But change is not going to come when you don't stand up for yourself. Yes.
Well, it's every right of every Ugandan to vote, to exercise their right to vote. So, and the reason why it's going to be my first time, for the other previous years I was not yet qualified by age to vote. So I feel like I also need to exercise that right. I feel like my vote is not going to make a difference. I feel like everything has already been put in place, like, you know what, this person is going to win, this person is going to win. So I really feel like there is nothing that is going to make, my vote is not going to make a change.
Young people should be hopeful. Change is coming. Let us just stick to what is right, but let's be hopeful.
If they turn up in numbers, there's going to be change.
Be the change that you want to happen in Uganda.
Fellow countrymen, as Uganda draws closer to its pivotal general elections on January 12, 2026, this, I tell you, this, I assure you, this new vibrant wave of female voters stands ready, their fingers poised to mark the ballot, their collective voices ready to demand for a future worthy of their grandest dreams. They are not merely casting a vote or votes, they are casting powerful, hopeful vision for a Uganda that truly reflects their aspirations, celebrates their resilience, and unleashes their unstoppable power. The future of Uganda, therefore, is profoundly, unmistakably female, and it is voting in 2026. I tell you, this episode of the Female Ballot, where we're asking and talking about first-time female voters and why now. Hopefully now you know why they are coming up, why they are showing up, what's their desire, what are their feelings, what are their concerns, and the change they want to see happen. My name is Katongole Arnold Anderson, and this is the Female Ballot. Her voice, her vote, her right. I remind you, it has been made possible by the African Institute for Investigative Journalism with partners in the UN Women and the WPHF. We can ponder about this conversation. Keep the conversation going and tell us what you think from these first-time voters. For now, I'll leave you. Keep the comments coming into our different social media handles and here. And I shall see you next time. Good evening.